many of us have gone either you need to watch the whole thing in order to see a repeat of the whole video on Facebook to see Jamie's wonderful video to that song. It's worth taking a peek if you haven't done that yet. Okay, well, if you were here last Sunday or you were watching live or if you watched later on, then you know that in recognition of the 4th of July this month, that all month long we are going to be considering what it means to us to be free. Science of Mind tells us the life within you is complete and perfect and has no cares nor burdens. It's free from restrictions, unlimited and unconditioned. It is free spirit and cannot be bound. Rejoice in that freedom. And so today we'll be considering the many ways that we can rejoice in our spiritual freedom as we live together in this human environment. We'll be exploring what it means to us not only to be free of thoughts that don't feel good when we think them, but free of restrictive thoughts that about life that limit our experiences of fully living with a sense of well-being while we're here. So today we are going to look at how we can escape the borders of the human mind that keep us locked in our head, filled with ideas and concepts about life, but not living life, not living it fully in the way that we're created to live it, and not experiencing it the way we're created to experience it. In the way of the heart, we read, I cannot find a concept, a word, an idea, a philosophy, or a dogma that can contain the mystery that is closer to you than your own breath and awaits your discovery. Now, I've talked before about the paralysis of analysis. And I personally have been in and out of analysis, that kind of analysis, for years. And I'm sure that most of us likely have visited the hallways and corridors of that obsession. Now, some things we feel addicted to figuring out are figure-outable. So it's okay to analyze those things. I mean, like how a mechanical or technical thing works. And some things like brain teasers and crossword puzzles even have the answers in the back of the book. And some whodunits are meant to be solved, like those in a movie or a book. And there is something so satisfying with the end result of figuring something out, or to solve a puzzle or a mystery. But even if we don't figure out how a mechanical thing works, like our car, it doesn't stop us from driving it. And even if we don't have a clue as to how a computer works, it doesn't stop us from using it. And even if we don't figure out a brain teaser or complete a puzzle, even if we don't know who done it in a movie or a book, still we enjoy our efforts. It's only when we attempt to solve the unsolvable, the mystery of being, the who-done-it of the cosmos, that our efforts can be more frustrating than enjoyable. When we try to figure out the vastness of the one consciousness, which is deeper than deep and wider than wide, trying to reach a conclusion is futile. When we attempt to find the origin of that which has no beginning and put conclusive boundaries around the endless, unbounded flow of life in which we live, we run into problems. Now, as it's been mentioned, the title of today's talk is Get It Through Your Head. I considered, can't you get it through your head? But either way, the answer is we can't get it through our head. Now, you can't get it through your head is something I say to myself often when I find that I'm ruminating rather than meditating, thinking rather than giving my mind a rest. Meditation is a silencing of the mind and an opening to the allness of God that is beyond thoughts. And that is the space and the openness that brings peace and freedom. When we focus on and think about and try to figure out this thing called life, so that we can wrap it up in a neat little concept that we can live with, tell others about, it leads to frustration and confusion. The unlimited life in which we live, the unlimited life that lives in us, can't be wrapped up, bound, or explained in human terms. In the Way of the Heart, we read, I cannot find a concept, a word, an idea, a philosophy, or a dogma that can contain the mystery that is closer to you than your own breath and awaits your discovery. There's no word, yet we try to find it. There's no concept, and yet we're looking for it. But it's the discovery we really want. God. Spirit, consciousness, pure positive energy. The life that lives in us as us is beyond words. Who we really are in our essence is beyond every concept, every word, every idea, every philosophy, every dogma there is. We are beyond figuring out. The poet Rumi wrote, no more words. Hear only the voice within. Remember the first thing he said was, we are beyond words. Now, I've talked before about my needing to be careful about the talk titles I choose, because it seems that one way or another, whatever I'm going to talk about occurs in my life in some way. That's why I try never to use the word hell in any of my talk titles. And yet, hell has a way of coming even when you don't call it by name. And so it was that I found myself in the McLaren ER in Fenton last Thursday with pain in my head that, with the exception of childbirth, was the most intense that I had ever experienced in my body. And it had begun a few days earlier, and it was just seemed like it was getting progressively worse. And the pain was confined to the left side of my head, the analytical side of my head. And it was located above and below my eye, so that my eye felt like it had a lot of pressure. And so 5.5 hours later, after a CT scan and blood tests and even a COVID swab showed nothing, I was sent home with a prescription for pain. And as I was being driven home, the first thought that came to me was a happy one. I thought, this whole event is such a great example of today's talk, because the answer to what I was experiencing literally could not be found in my head. But then I tried to analyze what was going on and what was in my thinking that was creating the experience I was having that no one with any kind of gadget could see, and no one could experience but me. But then I remembered that pain is a thought. And so rather than going into analysis, it felt better to let go and surrender to the peace that was beyond words, that was beyond thought, that was right there for me. To let go of the chatter and allow the good and very good of the one holy consciousness that is everywhere and flows through everything to flow through me. Abraham Hicks tells us, let your dominant intent be to feel good. And if you don't feel good, then let your dominant intent be to feel relief. Feel your way through it. If you think your way through it, you can get off on all kinds of tangents. Our human mind is full of tangents, detours of thought that lead us nowhere except to this world of appearances and already thoughts, and to the beliefs we cling to that keep us from experiencing anything new. Now, the science of mind is not a science of the human mind. That's psychology. The science of mind is designed to lead us within, as every spiritual teaching is. It points the way to an experience of the mind of God. The consciousness of the universe that is always clear and open, a space of newness and endless possibilities. We experience changing streams of consciousness within the one boundless, limitless, changeless consciousness that is all there is. The spiritual teacher Muji wrote, trying to understand consciousness with the mind is like trying to light the sun with a candle. We don't need to use a candle when the sun is shining. It sheds light on us and everything around us, and we naturally see clearly wherever we are. The sun is just there, shining as it does on the just and the unjust, whether we're thinking about it or not. However, if we began to worry if we were worthy of the sun's rays, we might not ever go outside. And if we thought that we had to figure out what the sun is and why it is, we might not go outside until we figured it out. But fortunately for most of us, even though we really don't know what the sun is or how it got there in the first place, we accept that the sun just is. And it shines on us whether we're good or bad or happy or sad. Just like that, life is. We don't have to try to figure out how to make our heart beat or how to breathe. It comes naturally to us. Life beats our hearts. Life is the energy within every breath we take. I mean, our heart might beat faster when we're angry than when we're calm. And we might breathe a little faster when we're anxious or frightened than when we're peaceful. But life continues to express through us without judging how we are expressing it. We can think about life in our head. We can think about love in our head. But we can't experience life or love just by thinking about it, because they are experiences of our spirit. We can't experience them in our head, and we can't express the fullness of them unless we express with our heart. Life isn't a spectator sport. It is meant for full participation, fully living and fully loving. Life is beyond any conclusions we have come to about life, no matter how spiritual we believe they may be. And each of us, all of us, are beyond any concept or idea we've come to about ourselves. God is the great mystery. The pure, positive energy that eternally creates worlds and fills all of existence with life and love. And it fills us too. And though we don't know how it does or why it does, we can be grateful in every moment that it does. And even though we'll never solve the mystery of it all, every moment we're given unlimited opportunities to discover more of it in us, more of what it is within us. And we'll make that discovery every moment. More and more and more discoveries every moment if we don't let our head get in the way. The only way that we can live this earth life in health, happiness, and peace, and love and well-being, and freedom, is to live with our mind free of conflict and confusion, and with our heart open wide. to all of the sacredness that is everywhere that life exists. Sri Chinmoy, an Indian spiritual leader who taught meditation in the US in the 60s, wrote, "The screams in my mind tell me that everything on earth is tragic or complicated. The smile of my heart tells me that everything on earth is magic and it's easy." We can't get it through our head, but thank God we already have it in our heart. All right. Well, this is the time of our service when we are grateful to feel grateful, when we are thankful to say thank you. It feels so good to feel the love and support of beautiful beings who love themselves and love life and love learning about what life is, even though we know we'll never learn it all. I'm so grateful for all of you here. I'm so grateful for all of you live stream. I'm grateful for you, even if you're watching this on a Tuesday. We're grateful that this message of the Life Enrichment Center is valuable enough to be supported financially by you so that we can continue to do what we do, and we really like doing what we do. So if you don't know how to support us financially, or if you'd like to hear that wonderful P.O. box one more time, then our treasurer, Dr. Jamie Phillips, is here to tell you all about it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So if you are watching live stream, I'm going to give you some ways that you can donate to the Life Enrichment Center. And I'm going to start out with that P.O. box, and I'm going to get it right this week. Okay, ready? It is the Life Enrichment Center, P.O. Box 321-294, Flint, Michigan, 48532. Woo! All right. Also, thank you. Also, if you'd like to contribute you can do so via Facebook. It's facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center and hit the donate button. You can go to our website where you can get the podcast or the video of today's talk, and that's at lecflint.com, and just hit the contribute button. You can go to PayPal and use our email address, lec2512@gmail.com, and send your donation that way. So in the sanctuary, we're going to take an offertory, gratitude receivers coming forward, and we're going to play a song by Nima Patel and Daniel Namad called Grateful. Thank you.